Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of A New Go of New Home Sales. I'm your host today, Sarah Williams, and I'm the Director of Sales here at A New Go. And joining me is our CEO of A New Go, John Lee. Welcome, John.
Hey guys.
So today we're talking about AI, which stands for artificial intelligence. And John and I recently did a podcast on ChatGPT by OpenAI. And today we wanted to go a little bit deeper and talk about other AI tools and talk about a search engine called you.com. I'm not sure if you all have heard of it, but we've been testing it here at A New Go. Today's topic, we're going to call this AI a human's best friend. And I know some of you guys might not agree that AI is a human's best friend. And honestly, being a tech company, John and I have been doing this a long time. We know very well of humans' fears of technology. And this is not a new fear. This has been going on a long time. And let's all be honest, humans have been disrupted. Their jobs have been disrupted with technology. Technology has taken over a lot of jobs that humans used to do. But I'd like to challenge all of us humans. John and I are both human as well.
You think?
As far as we're aware.
I'm really an avatar robot, but
but I have to ask you guys, have you been to places recently that have not a help wanted, help needed, or someone tell you how short-staffed they are? So I read articles all the time. My mother-in-law and I had a conversation over the Christmas holiday. She's like, I don't know where everybody is. Where do people go that we're all working in these jobs? And, I was pulling up articles to kind of help substantiate some of my thoughts. And I said, the baby boomers are leaving the job market. So there are people leaving the job market every day. And there's people, that had maybe lower paying jobs that moved up into those jobs. But we need technology right now because there's not enough people. There's not enough people to do the current jobs. So how can we do more with less? How can we, why do we have humans doing the jobs that machines can do? We're always going to need humans to do the jobs that rely on empathy and compassion, personalization, and all of those things. And John and I, today, we're not here to say eliminate humans by any stretch. That would take away us. Because we are human, but we're going to talk about how humans can leverage AI technology so they can get back to doing the things where humans are required. So how can you leverage AI in what you're currently doing? And how, for businesses, how can you be more profitable by leveraging AI? So let's let machines do some of that heavy lifting that used to take hours out of my day, out of John's day, and out of all of our days. And that's what we're going to talk about today. So John, let's just dive right into it.
So we're here, right? The transition between 2022 and 2023. And going into 2023, I want to just let you know that, in 2022, we really saw the birth of the AI chatbot for consumers, and that really started just in December with AI public testing of OpenAI's ChatGPT, and that's been very popular. Over 1 million people signed up to try it out in the first 5 days. But even before the start of the new year here, we're starting to see what I'm calling the rise of the machines. Sounds scary from the Terminator, but actually a search engine that I've been using for a while, you.com, I've been using for over a year when it launched in 2021, has actually now incorporated AI UI, which is a user interface, into its search engine. So now you're starting to see that combined with search and also even to write articles and stuff for you. So I think it gives us a hint of the future. But I'm here to make the argument that unlike the Terminator, AI is not here to wipe us out. It's actually here to help us out. And really the question isn't about what about machines taking humans' jobs? It's really, the question should be, why are humans doing the robots' jobs? And so I really want to start to prime us for the future, which is happening as we speak. And the funny thing is, many people are afraid and scared to death about talking tech. But ironically, over the last 20 years, you don't really realize this, but we've been taught to speak machine. And how we've been taught to speak that way? By typing in choppy keywords built around classified databases using algorithms, AKA, like Google AdWords. Marketers have spent tons of money trying to learn this machine language, when actually what's happening now, their customers are actually starting to speak more naturally, starting with Siri and Alexa. They don't speak in jargon of a few choppy keywords that are trying to feed the bot. They're speaking the way they want to speak, which is conversational and visual. And paradoxically, bots are actually helping us humans speak more naturally online, not to speak more like machines. And this is where it's going to get really interesting. The bots, depending on your viewpoint, it's either going to be a very attractive or a very scary thing. In that, my argument is that AI is not great because it's been trained on a vast knowledge base of information, but it's really going to be attractive in that it's learning how to become more human. It's going to learn how to become more persuasive. And it's doing that by first auto-completing the most likely next word or sentence for the phrases it knows will appeal to you. It's starting to understand intent and your preferences. And it's doing that based on personal behavior. And this is what happens with you.com. It's all about you. As you're starting to ask questions and interact with it, it knows more and more about you because one, you've opted into share your privacy and your conversations with it. But what happens is bots will get to know us and we will learn to trust them, which I know right now people don't trust anything, but we've actually been conditioned over the last decade to do this via the internet and via social media. We trust
Netflix, John.
Exactly.
Think about,
we trust their judgment. We trust their recommendation. We trust whatever they're feeding us. We just suck it in. So we've already been primed for this. Now, here's what's going to be crazy, that these bots that we're against right now may actually become your virtual BFF 24/7. Because, one thing about bots and AI, they could actually become more likable, more friendlier, more encouraging, reliable, and persuasive than look at these human flaws. I mean, some of your friends are argumentative, they're emotional, they're judgmental, they're ignorant, and they're needy. And sometimes you don't want to pander to that.
Who are you hanging out with, John? I'm just kidding.
Yeah. So the nice thing about the robot is its ability to relate to us in a more relatable, empathetic, and loyal, and even more human than mere mortals. And so this is what could happen. Your favorite bot, it's almost like your forever dog. It's going to be there virtually forever. She's the one you turn to in your times of need. I mean, you're going to constantly share your darkest secrets and desires with her in your online personal diary because you've trusted her. You've actually been typing stuff out for years and it already knows that. So she's the only one that really truly knows you. And she's constantly at your service from anything you want, from writing poems to songs to blogs, say all the nice things to you that your spouse probably doesn't say. It's there to do the things that your best friends may not be able to do, but it's also there to help you. It could be there to negotiate bills with you. Let my bot talk to your bot. It's actually been done with Comcast billing. They've used on ChatGPT to negotiate their billing rates down. It could also be there to do research and advise you. So what I'm really saying is that if you can really find that trusted AI, it could really be human's best friend, but it's also smarter and more conversant, and it's always available. You will trust her to teach you, guide you, and even make important life decisions for you because it's going to be omniscient, it's going to be omnipresent, and it's going to be omnipotent. Sounds scary, but it can also be very attractive.
Well, no, I love it. And so, John, the biggest difference I think we want our listeners to understand is why this is such a game changer and why ChatGPT is such a game changer. If folks haven't listened to it, is that this is conversational messaging, not just a search result with a bunch of websites when we talk about ChatGPT. So that's the biggest game changer here. And within the past year, that the ability to give so many words or tokens, as they call it in this language, but for this audience, we'll just say words, that it's literally doubled within a year of what its capability is. So right. I think for ChatGPT, they're thinking it's somewhere between 3,000 and 6,000 words. And like the average New York Times article is 622 words, or the average tweet is 55 words. So just giving you an idea of, in a conversational way, that, like, for instance, ChatGPT can give you in a conversational way up to that many words, up to maybe 6,000 words, give or take.
Right, which is actually about the same amount as the U.S. Constitution. And so basically, the reason that the length of the words or the amount of words is important is because now you can carry on a conversation. The idea that you're going to express your dream home and why you want to live there, how it affects your lifestyle, and how's it going to affect your investment, and just a few key words is not realistic. I mean, that's why we have real estate agents. That's why we talk for days on end with your realtor and your spouse. the ability to have a long conversation and an open-ended conversation that's uniquely for your needs and desires is what's going to make AI so powerful.
Right. And in the past, it would forget, right? You would say so many words. You might have a couple words in the beginning, but you
That
gave
was
a
the
bunch
Siri
more
talk.
detail.
Alexa,
Right,
turn on
right.
the
And then they
you turn on
forgot,
the kitchen lights.
right. And
And
it forgot what maybe the first two words said. If you gave it too many instructions or too many words, it forgot the first part of it. That's again why this is such a game changer. So, John, just a little bit of statistics that I wanted to bring up is that since Chat GPT opened up in this open source and allowing users to use it, they hit 1 million users in 5 days. So I know we did a podcast and we were using it. There was hundreds of articles written on LinkedIn of people talking about it. Things were going viral. New York Times covered it, but I was in a roundtable too, and I brought it up to my industry friends and my own roundtables, builder services. And crazy enough, two other participants in that roundtable that serve our builders are also testing out Chat GPT for their services as well. So I just want to let everybody know that it's not just Nugo that's talking about it. We're probably the only one talking about it publicly to you all, to our home builders, but there's other builder services. We're all testing this out because we all really believe that this is a game changer for not just our own personal businesses, for how we're going to be able to serve the public, serve home shoppers, and help our builders do more with less.
well, let's talk about some of the use cases for using a virtual assistant or a chatbot. Some of the things that come to mind here is like in copywriting. A lot of our marketers here, they need to write text for marketing campaigns, for advertisements, for social media, to maybe describe their products and why they're better than others. An AI virtual assistant may be a great way to get things started. Obviously, you need to kind of feed it a little bit of information, but it can draw from the vast knowledge base of other information to write it in a way that meets the style and the target audience that you're pursuing.
Right. So when you guys go in to any of these AI interfaces, what they call them are writing prompts. So you, the user, so if I'm the home builder marketer, or I'm the home builder salesperson or manager or executive, I have to come up with the prompt to prompt the AI. So a good example would be, give me another way to talk about healthy home living with an HVAC system or a certain SEER number. Something like, specific, but give me a way to talk in a 5th grade level, or in a witty way, or in a conversational way. You can actually, with you.com, with you right, which we're going to talk about here in a little bit, you actually can pick the style that you want to come across. So that would be like a writing prompt. Or John mentioned like a social media response. So what you could say is, give me 5 responses to someone that is unhappy with their newly constructed home as the home builder. You could give it a prompt and it could give you 5 different ways you can respond to a social media post. This way you can have things, again, it's going to still take the human to proof it, to modify it and massage it a little bit. But this way it's giving you, if you have writer's block, or if you're like, I just needed another way to say X or Y, it's going to give you some new ideas of what you could say or how you can say it. So product description, I have a home that's a 4-bedroom home, 2.5 bath, open floor plan, great room, flex room. You can put your details in it and say, give me a summary in a conversational way or in a professional way, whatever it may be, to promote this product with these are the features, or give me a new home listing describing this. I follow Chris Smith, he wrote Conversion Code, and I saw him do this in his Facebook. He said, how did AI do describing this house? Would you put it in your MLS listing? These are the things that those of us in the industry are prompting these AI tools. And I challenge our home builders to try it out, because gosh, you could save so many minutes to your day. And I'm all about implement technology to win back moments in your life, whether it's 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 2 hours. When it adds up at the end of the week, it's a whole day. It's 8 hours. I'm telling you.
Well, the beautiful thing about the AI is it's using machine learning across a vast neural network. And I don't want to get too jargony, but it's always learning, and it's learning the best messages across, many different marketers' efforts and bringing in that best knowledge. It brings up all the current information. So that does the research for you and it composes it. And the beautiful thing is, if you don't like what it says, you can just hit the regenerate button and it just gives you another response. So it just keeps throwing out different proposals and you just accept it or you can edit it.
Yeah, and if you don't like it, you don't use it, or if it doesn't sound like your brand. Or the nice thing is, it's you could use this and then put your own flavor and personalize it to make it yours, which is what this is really about. It's not to let the machine be you. When John says make it your best friend, let it be your secret weapon.
Right.
Let it be your little secret that you're still going to put your fluff on it, but it's doing, when we say the heavy lifting, let the machine do the heavy lifting to put together the meat, and then you put the intro and outro. If we think about templated emails, I know I was so against templated emails in my early days of selling because I just didn't know any better. But when you say the same thing over and over again, or you just have to learn a different way to say it, you have to get creative. And I started to use templates, and I lived and died by templates for my email responses and emails as a salesperson and as an OSC. This is a great way to come up with a different way of saying the same thing. You could throw in your go-to tried and true email template, put it into this generator, feed the machine and say, give me another variation saying the same thing. And there you have it, right? So don't overthink this. Don't reinvent the wheel. Let this just help you work smarter, not harder.
Right. I mean, the AI is actually very talented. I mean, it could write blogs, it could write poems, it could write songs, it can complete an essay for you. I mean, you may have, let's work from the other side. Instead of having writer's block, you just don't know how to finish it. And so what it can do is it can take what you've written, write it in a better, more grammatical way or in a different style, but it also can finish it up and maybe summarize a conclusion for it. So it works on different spectrums and across different needs. And it really is easy. I've tried it a number of times. You can use it to actually help you even find the right keywords that you may need to help teach the traditional search engines. You can even translate it to a different language. So there's many different other applications that you can use the AI for. The other area that is very popular for us, I think, is for OSCs and salespeople, like that customer support piece. Like Sarah was mentioning, it can support customers through emails and messages to give that information, but it also can give it to you in a very empathetic way, which is counterintuitive to what you may think about the AI, but it actually knows how to say things at the right time. So you don't have to worry about the AI having a bad day, like like some people actually do. It will, if you want to always be friendly and helpful and supportive, it can respond in that format. And that's very interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, tone is everything, and people pick up on tone, right? So
right. And let's go deeper into this. Let's talk about some of this technology. There's actually a machine behind the man and the man behind the machine kind of thing. This AI generative technology is actually being taught, like I said, through machine learning, but it's also actually has human intervention to help teach it, which is why we have software developers that are looking at the results and saying, hey, look, we need to fine tune it, but it's actually now open to the public. So now you can give it a thumbs up or thumbs down based on the kind of answers it's giving you. And it's learning from humans to how to be a better bot. And so there's actually a number of different AIs. I don't want you guys to think there's just one universal AI. So there's like open AI. They use similar technologies as other ones, but that was founded by Elon Musk and actually has investment by Microsoft. But it's not just Microsoft. There's actually another AI called BlenderBot, which hasn't been too much released yet, but that's actually founded and managed by Meta, which is Facebook. And so they're bringing a different element in. All those social media feeds and conversations is tapping into that. And then there's Lambda, which is owned by Google, which a lot of people are saying that's probably the most powerful AI. And Lambda, they always speak in acronyms and code here, but actually Lambda stands for Language Model for Dialogue Applications. I don't think I even helped in explaining that. But it's
sounds
actually been trained on
yeah.
1.7 trillion words out there. ChatGPT actually stands for Generative Pre-trained Transformers. And what does that mean? Generative means that it's generating things based on these prompts. Pre-trained means that that data has been pulled out. And actually for ChatGPT, they did a data dump on everything up to 2021. So it doesn't know who won the Super Bowl last year or things like that. It only knows up to 2021, but it's taking that data and it's teaching their bots, and the bots are learning from that set of data. So it's pre-trained in that environment. And then it's now, obviously transforming all that data into something meaningful for the user. And so ChatGPT particularly, they're on version 3.5 now. And that's the one they brought to public for prototyping and testing just last month. They're working on ChatGPT 4, which is going to be magnitudes better and more powerful. That's going to launch hopefully early this year. But all that is still based on a data dump from the cloud. Ultimately, and the same thing with Google, they want to actually have it so it's web-based, so that they're calling it Web GPT, where it's drawing information from the internet, and so you have more real-time information. All this stuff here, at least from the generative part, it actually generates in many different formats. So it can generate textually, like we've been talking about, so you can have these open-ended conversations. But OpenAI, which owns ChatGPT, also owns DALL-E. Now they're on version 2, DALL-E 2, which generates images. So you can type a description of some crazy scenario and it will generate an image on the fly. Like I've done this a number of times on, in a matter of seconds, and 4 or 5 versions of it. And then you can now, select that or continue to edit that and refine that. They're even now doing what they call point E. Without giving you all the acronyms, point E is actually creating 3D models based on text descriptions. So you can now use these models in different, maybe the metaverse in the future. And there are even people here that are working on generative videos. Probably won't replace the avatar writers and and virtual effects there for a while, but that's what they're working on. So they can actually write the script and actually create the videos that will create those movies.
Interesting enough, like if you think about, like we said, the past 20 years or 25 years, John, of just how different and how tech and just different things have changed. And, there's probably plenty of people on the younger side listening to us, and they might not know what we're talking about, but just like if you think about the Pennsylvania Turnpike, John, you and I both lived in Pennsylvania going up and down.
Bumpiest road on the planet.
Right. But no, like I started to date myself 25 years ago when I graduated college. I started going up and down from Philadelphia to the Pittsburgh area on the Pennsylvania Turnpike to go to college. Then my husband and I, got engaged and settled in Pittsburgh, and I would have to drive back to Philadelphia. Just knowing how many people used to sit in those booths, to take the tickets and exchange money. So just kind of getting just so everyone's on the same page here, within 25 years, technology kind of disrupted that whole model, right? Of now almost everybody has what Pennsylvania calls the easy pass, or it would be like the Sun Belt, I forget, or the Sun Pass, I think in Florida, toll road type technology. But when we talk about Google, our cell phones, if you think about these like smaller, now it's like these windows are getting smaller and smaller. That's like a really broad, like funny kind of thing for people to think about, because it's been 25 years since people were always at the booth. I don't even know if there's a person in the booth now, maybe one, but my husband made that comment. He goes, look at all those empty booths. Remember when people used to sit in those booths? That's their job. And we're like, that wasn't that long ago, but within 25 years. Now we think about when smartphones and even the first iPad, my son's 14, he was about 1-ish when iPads first came out. So within my son's lifetime, how many generations, right, John, of technology, and how much more each cell phone, the iPad, and how small and how powerful these devices are. So when we're talking about AI, we're talking about what you and I are talking about today, we're talking about like the earliest generations of this. And there's probably plenty of people in the articles I read, it's like, don't listen to people that think we're crazy, right? For those of us testing this, because when some of these other ideas came out, like the toll booth, right? It's going to disrupt. When the iPad and the iPhone, when these technologies first come out, people are like, how is this going to work? Because it was so different than how it's always been done. And even in the past, we'll say during Google's heyday, how long did you say Google's been around, John?
It's probably like 1999 or so.
Okay, and then it became mainstream, right? So
right.
Well,
I used to work in Silicon Valley, and my company Teralytics, which is analyzing terabytes of data, used to compete against Google. So Google helped eliminate my job back then, but it's also what actually gave me a new career here with Inugo because we were able to use Google AdWords to then promote our company. And then we were able to land a lot of business through SEO, search engine optimization. So that's why I'm actually very excited about AI, because it's been 20 years since I've seen something revolutionary like this. And I kind of missed the boat the first time. I actually want to ride it this time around. And one of the things I think what's happening with technology is I think a lot of people have gotten used to what has been around them, and then they're not realizing things are changing. Like people always say, well, Google has always been there. It will always be there. There's no other search engines. Well, actually, obviously we know there's Safari, there's Firefox, but did you know that there's other search engines that are in the works? That's probably more privacy based. Obviously you've seen probably DuckDuckGo advertisement. There's also another one called Brave, but the one I've been playing around with is u.com, which was actually founded by a couple of Salesforce engineers. Actually has the investment of $20 million from the CEO of Salesforce, Mark Benioff, and also Microsoft's investors, because Microsoft needs to compete against Google and Facebook, because they've lost a lot of that digital advertising, because Bing is not competing with Google AdWords as well. So that's why they have to kind of leapfrog the search engine technology. And one of the things about the search engine model, if you want to talk about this, maybe let's pull it back to a bigger impact, because this is where marketers in our industry are primarily focused on, is about search engine marketing, SEM. Google and Facebook have really dominated digital ads. And it really started in 2014, where it was the first time that duopoly constituted over 50% of the digital ad spend in this country. It actually peaked in like 2017, about 55% or so. But ever since then, it's actually been declining. It's actually dropped below 50% now. I think it's like 45% now. And what's it been replaced with? It's been replaced by the third largest search engine, which is Amazon. And a lot of that is going toward e-commerce. A lot of marketplaces like Zillow and such are taking away a lot of that digital ad spend. You also have streaming ads now. Of course, there's YouTube, but there's TikTok and videos, and even Netflix is getting into the ad business, and obviously social media. And so what's happening is all these other new social media channels and search engine channels are taking over a lot of that duopoly dominance. And this is where it comes to our industry here, where I think the AI and the search engine battle is going to start to begin starting in next year. Historically, builders have focused on marketing in a singular channel, and that channel has been their website. Ever since they moved away from print and newspapers and flyers, they've moved primarily on their website. Lately, they've expanded a little bit into social media. But consequently, they focus on SEM, search engine marketing. And what do they do to do that? They basically try to feed keywords that they think the Google search engine will organically use to bring their website higher in the search, search results and rankings. So there are entire businesses and marketing agencies really starting in the mid 2000s, 2015, I'm sorry, 16, 17 at the pinnacle of search engines that have been built to basically try to game the Google system with their professed special insights into the Google's ever-changing secret algorithms. But in reality, they're just really using the same popular keywords as their competitors. I mean, Google Analytics will actually even tell you what those keywords are. You don't really need to have an expert to do that. The thing that you actually have to determine as a marketer is just how much money do you want to spend on that keyword? And so it's really it's really a bidding process. Now,
and do you really want to take the bait of going with what Google tells you to do? Because
it's kind of clickbait. It's the clickbait within the clickbait.
Right. You don't want to listen to Google. Well, I always say our agency friends, because they are our friends, are a little bit like Google salespeople secondary, but Google still tries to tell you what you should spend your money on, which that's the most sketchy.
Well, they want you to spend as much of your budget without killing you, and basically, the house always wins, because they know top billing is going to get paid $20 per listing, second one's going to pay 15 or whatever. So they're gonna win the whole pot, and just how much are you willing to spend to keep bidding each other up.
Did you feel like agencies are a little bit more like gamblers? Like they take the money and they're like it's like a little bit of a gamble. Like
I don't know if it's a gamble. I mean, they're trying to give you a wise bet. They're probably giving you the probabilities, and
sure,
and you
with their
expertise, here, you get this type of audience. So actually, they're doing the best with the name of the game, which is search engine marketing. But what's going to happen when AI comes into the picture, and now you have an AI search world instead of a Google bot that's crawling its own Google cloud database of keywords and highest bidders. First of all, there's many, many different AI bots, like I described earlier, and they're continuously machine learning across thousands of unbiased cloud databases, not just the GCP cloud, a Google cloud platform. They draw from an array of rich, widely popular, current and meaningful content. What really makes it different from a bot versus algorithmic search engine is the bots use its intelligence. That's why it's called artificial intelligence, to know how to personally discern, compose, and communicate just those meaningful nuggets of information that each unique customer is specifically asking for in an open-ended conversation. There is not a decision tree. It's whatever you want to ask me next. I know how to the bot knows how to intelligent respond to you. So what it may actually do, it may actually combine data from many different multiple competing sources of information to provide better insights. And what's going to happen with that? Well, consequently, generic and static prepared text-laden listings with keywords that are really designed for Google bots and for a singular biased source would not be attractive or even utilized by the AI, because the AI search chat world will recompose all that content anyway, and it rewrites it in irrelevant content from multiple sources to that consumer. Kind of understand it? It's not biased
it's not
anymore.
Meaningful, right? Well,
Yes.
it's not meaningful. Like, all right, so let's break this down. So u.com is a search engine that we've been testing out.
Right.
But John, just so everyone's following, if you go to u.com, which you can today, you can pick from different sources. Like, so I created my own user. I log in. I'm Sarah Williams, logged in with my own username. I can create my own profile similar to my Netflix profile. Like, where do I want to, what's my style of movies? You kind of take the quiz. But in u.com, when we're talking about search engines, where do you want to get your news from? Where do you want to be searching? Do you want to search from a social media channel? Do you like Google? Do you like, which areas are you really trying to get your information from? So, and it's private. So when I start searching, it's the privacy is there. So I can search any of these, or I can keep it wide open, but I can actually curate where I want to be getting my information from. So if I like Fox News or CNN or MSN or fill in the blank, it doesn't really matter. Whatever your cup of tea is, you can actually curate it and kind of fix up your whole profile. So then that's the feeds that you're seeing. And that's also the search engines that u.com is leveraging.
It's all about you in a sense. It's private and it's registered. But the other thing is, unlike Google, which it's going to present to you the content that it wants to present to you, because primarily they're trying to help their paid advertisers. You choose the sources, like you're saying. I only want to hear from Fox News. I only want to hear from CNN. I only want to hear from ESPN. I only want to hear from these social channels. And so you will have curated content that is brought to you. And then what's happening, like I was saying earlier with AI, it's taking all your preferred content sources, composing it in a way that's meaningful and conversational to you. So what's going to happen in this new world, the days of just creating generic paragraphs of keywords and static content that's universal for everyone, it actually becomes meaningless. People are not going to just read that billboard presentation anymore. I mean, if you really think about it, another way to think of Google search results versus AI, Google is like going to a dictionary or a glossary with set definitions and terms, and it uses keywords as its indexes, just like the dictionary uses the alphabet, to say, okay, letter B follows letter A, and this is where all the content for B is. Ironically, Google's parent company, its formal name is actually Alphabet. So it's really an alphabet soup of index keywords of static content. Now, AI, if you want to compare to that, is more like a Socrates or like a professor who can give a broader and more insightful answer and meaning for each student's needs and intent. What can happen is, using artificial intelligence, it can deduce an understanding and continue an open-ended conversation using intelligence, not general knowledge. So what can happen is the current AI can continue an intelligent conversation, for what we said earlier. It's about 6,000 words. And I know it's going to grow. It's going to grow in both knowledge, and it's going to grow in both the length of conversation. So it really will become your BFF, because you will have meaningful conversations into the night about the meaning of life and how you should spend your day.
No, literally. I mean, we test it, we put in different things that we know about that we can kind of say, all right, this is close. Things we don't know about that we want to learn about. We have tested on our bios. Sometimes they get it right. Sometimes it's not updated. Sometimes they get it wrong. It's not perfect, just so everyone's clear either. Like the bots are not perfect. They're not going to nail it every time. So that's where you, the person, have to come in and cross-reference, cross-check, make sure it's accurate before you publish it, right? Or if you're going to use any of the information as factual,
Mhm.
that you have to fact check it. You have to, just like anything on the internet, don't believe everything you read. Like
Right.
when I put in my own looking up a bio, Google yourself, as people used to say, well, it wasn't on Google, it was on you.com. They had some old data on me. They did not have, I had to be more specific of where I currently work to get the newest data set. But you know what? I found it very, very interesting. I just don't want anyone to have a closed mind to this, because I think that this is something that we should all be getting used to today. This is going to keep building upon. Is it the best it's going to be? Heck no. Just like everything else. And I made that comment about the toll booths. That was 25 years ago, how different things are today. Everyone has an easy pass or a Sunbelt,
Right.
like a toll booth. Like it took 25 years or probably less than that. But it was just kind of that aha moment this past Thanksgiving that there's like nobody in these booths. But like over time, it gradually changed and changed. Our
Yes.
phones, we're all so used to carrying. Like I vividly remember, John, when texting first became a thing. And I remember my brother-in-law sitting on the couch with his phone and he was just like looking at it, and we're all hanging out. None of us, it wasn't the thing that people did. And I found it so rude and so weird. I'm like, why is your head in your phone? This is so, I remember vividly calling him out for this. Now, if you came to our living room this Christmas, every single one of us were like this, that's normal. Not that that's a good thing, but I'm just saying like how fast things are changing.
Yeah, it's very true. I mean, you
We
look at
forget.
millennials there. If you were on the
Forget.
Pennsylvania Turnpike and all of a sudden you stopped at a toll booth, they'd be like,
Oh my
"What are
gosh,
you
you're getting
doing?
rear-ended. Yeah,
Like,
you're getting rear-ended.
why are you stopping?"
Right. But this is less than 30 years. So like as quick as the past, the pandemic, I mean, that all hit in what, what was that, 2020? That was 2 years ago already. How fast things are just flying already. So I'm just letting everyone know that in the next 2 years, what we're talking about today, that John and I have talked about, and I think we did talk about it on the last AI podcast we did, is John, you were saying that you, in all of your knowledge and all of your experience, you were not expecting AI to come on this strong as fast as it did. You thought it was still 3 to 5 years out, and you
I
were
thought it was
like
multiple years out,
flabbergasted.
but
Yeah.
I knew it was coming, and
Right.
actually we've been planning for it. And the way I've been planning for it is, and I'm using this term because it's wide open now, so there's not any firm terms yet, but I'm calling it cloud seeding. And
Yeah.
cloud seeding is kind of like, when you seed the clouds for it to rain. Well, we have data clouds here. And what we want to do as now marketers, instead of just trying to pick out the keywords that will just bring to your paragraph listing or whatever, is you want to start to seed the cloud with rich, attractive, engaging content, which will then draw in these bots to rain down these valuable conversations. And these AI assistants will start to see that all this attractive content that people keep coming back for is starting to establish itself as a trusted source of data. And you have to trust the AI's intelligence as it's going across this neural network. It's continuing to teach its AI bots. And what we want to do over at NewGo, because we're creating a NewGo marketplace, we actually want to teach it about the new home industry. So we're going to teach it, what an elevation is, what a septic tank is, what a Jack and Jill bath, and all these different floor plan features and whatever. We are seeding that cloud of information. And what's going to end up happening with AI search, as much as people think it's going to eliminate jobs, it's actually going to create a whole new type of MarTech consultants, which they've already coined the phrase. They're going to be called prompt engineers, prompting.
For those prompts, right?
For those prompts.
That I was
So,
saying,
if
for
you
like
think
the writing prompts. Yeah.
Exactly. Because the actual UI, and we're starting to see some of this stuff even with you.com. The reason we talk about you.com so much is ChatGPT is still using its own website to kind of try out and prototype interface. You.com is actually a search engine that's actually brought in that chat conversation, as well as being able to automatically write a blog from the data that you're having conversation with. So it's bringing it all together. What's going to happen with these prompt engineers? It's kind of like teleprompting for speakers. It's going to prompt the AI to generate the content, whether it's textual or visual or video that you want to appear. The reason that's going to be important for marketing is you're going to need some MarTech or marketing technologists that are well-versed in prompting, because that prompting is going to go beyond just your website. It's no longer just a singular channel conversation. It's going to go across, unlike Google, which is just your website. It's going to go, it could be in social media, it could be in emails, it could be in the chat bot. That content needs to come to them wherever they're at. And the reason I'm saying you have to seed it, you have to create the data that feeds that. And the reason I've been preparing for this, I didn't know it was going to come around this year. I was thinking it'd be 2 or 3 years. For us in Inugo, we've actually gone through and used our own AI bot, which we affectionately call Sophie because she's a sophisticated consumer, like today's new home buyer. Our AI bot has crawled all of our floor plans. And so it reads every floor plan label. It has read every floor plan option. It knows about the community amenities and features. It reads visually, you know, the stone, the brick, the 2 stories, the front entry garage, and all that information. So what happens is now that rich content, which not only provides information sources to the bots, it actually is teaching the bots about new construction and what consumers are asking for, because as the consumers are asking bot questions, it knows this is probably the next question that's going to come up, or this is a concern, or people that like this probably like that. And so it's now bringing the right builders, the right communities, the right plans, the right features to the right people at the right time. You can't do that in a search engine right now, because search engine, all it does is it's like the classified ads. It'll take you to the lost and found section. It'll take you to the pet section or something like that, but it's never going to take you to the actual product where we can actually bring you to. And those prompters are going to be the new Google AdWords consultants of tomorrow. But, you know, in comparison with the search engine bots, the old chat bots were probably using more of a decision tree of outputs, you know, so if you choose this, you get this one, and this will take you to the next one. This is actually using intelligence, and it's actually drawing not just from your source of, okay, Sarah is going to put in the 20 responses to these 10 questions or 20 questions or whatever. It's drawing well beyond Sarah, well beyond any particular builder or channel. And it's drawing that and then putting it into a format that is unique to that customer. So that takes a lot of a machine learning and intelligence. That's why it's artificial intelligence. And what's going to be very interesting thing here is the way you see that cloud is not just through data tagging, which we want to automate, because there's no way a human is actually going to data tag all this millions of data, which is always changing, particularly for the new homes and all the options and features, changing in real time, availability, pricing. But you also have to have content that establish yourself as a credible source. So we really want to make a new go-to destination for bots and people to learn about new homes. The other technology that we're using in there is what we call a headless CMS. For some of you who have listened to my past podcasts about headless CMS, that's a headless content management system. In the old days, or even in a lot of people in our industry, they have a CMS that's dedicated to a particular channel. So I can update things and it'll update my website. But if I update Facebook, it's not going to update TikTok, it's not going to update YouTube or whatever. It's not going to update even other website channels. So what happens is we're using a headless CMS, not to just update everything simultaneously in an omni-channel network. So with a single sign-on, whether you're on the portal or your website or your sales center, or whether you're on Facebook or whatever, or talking to a chatbot, it's drawing from that same data source. So that headless CMS means that there is no head to that CMS, that there's multiple heads, whatever head you want, but you feed in one source of truth, and now it's propagated across all these channels. The beautiful thing is now for the AI, you are now saying you are literally everywhere, but wherever you are, you will be always found and never lost. And that AI cloud seeding is going to entail both an art and a science. And I really believe that for the future MarTech consultants, that will be an essential trait, that you have to both be an artist, in a sense, creative, and also be scientific. in analytical and knowing how to create those prompts as a prompt engineer.
I've heard in the past couple of years, the marketing technologist is going to be like the new role with home builders. And again, our industry, I hate, we get beat up because we say it's tech laggard, but if other industries have marketing technologists, there's some national builders that have marketing technologists, but our larger builders, our mid-sized builders are not there yet. So this is going to, as we've said many times on our podcast, in the next 2 years, you're not going to have a choice, and your marketers are going to have a different skill set or add to their skill toolbox. Graphic designer is going to have to get a broader skill set if they're going to run all marketing for your company. The art is only part of it. So you have to be tech.
And ironically, this is when you're going to actually love and covet that virtual assistant, because there's no way that you're going to be able to do this humanly possible on your own.
For everyone listening, check out these sites. They're all, so u.com was the one that we've been talking about, and they have YouWrite, and YouWrite allows you to write some things for free, up to 10, I think, different prompts, or 10 different things for free. And then there is a paid subscription, but that's still in beta. John's been testing.
Well, that paid subscription, I mean, it's only $8 a month.
$8 a month.
And it's 100,000 words, right? 100,000 words, which is
a ton.
Yeah, which is, I think you can write War and Peace, which is like 700,000 words or 600,000 words and probably with 6 months subscription.
Right, right. But you can try for free. That's what we've been doing. We do not pay for a subscription to u.com, but you can try Imagine, which is the art part of it, creating images. We want you to try Chat GPT if you haven't already. Again, we've been buzzing about it here. We've told our friends in the industry to try it. They're trying it. They're obsessing over it. It's so impressive, the stuff. And then DALL-E, which John's talked about, it's very similar to Imagine. It's the art aspect of creating different AI images.
Well, just to let you know what we're doing here at NewGo, because we're not just all talk, we're actually trying to do some action here. Like I said earlier, we have actually automatically data tagged a lot of the characteristics of homes and communities and builders. And they just appear as crazy word, like keywords in our dashboard, our content management system. Trying not to get too techie here. So what happens is we want to now feed ChatGPT or u.com or whatever AI bots out there to take those data nuggets and then write marketing campaigns or create conversations with that. And so right now, because our two AIs haven't connected yet, though they're building APIs to do this, they have a great user interface, great conversational bot. We have all the brains. So we have all the data content. So ultimately, we want their bot to talk to our bot to actually give it the real information so that they can now have a meaningful conversation with consumers. But for right now, to test things out, I'm kind of the man in the middle where I'm actually feeding our data nuggets into ChatGPT. So here's an example. I asked ChatGPT, write a marketing post for a house called the Fenwick Farmhouse with a front entry garage, owner suite on the main level, fireplace, outdoor fireplace, full laundry room, bench, flex room, patio, porch, double sink, separate tub and shower, kitchen island, walk-in pantry. That's a lot of stuff, but that's actually all the data tags for that floor plan. It's also 2 stories with a stone facade. That's also in our content management system. It has 3 to 4 bedrooms because it can expand, 2.5 bathrooms, 2,075 to 2,218 square feet. It's built by Beacon Homes in the Fraser Meadows neighborhood in Bixby, Oklahoma. Those are all the data tags in our system. So now, in a matter of like 2 seconds, it wrote this marketing thing. Are you looking for the perfect family home? Look no further than the Fenwick Farmhouse, located in the beautiful Fraser Meadows neighborhood in Bixby, Oklahoma. This 2-story home features a stone facade, 3 to 4 bedrooms, 2.5 bathrooms, and 2,075 to 2,218 square feet of living space. The Fenwick Farmhouse is designed with your family in mind. You'll love the spacious owner's suite located on the main level, as well as the full laundry room, flex room, and outdoor fireplace. The kitchen boasts a large kitchen island, walk-in pantry, and double sink. There's also a cozy fireplace in the living room and a patio and porch, so you can enjoy the outdoors all year round. The front entry garage makes it easy to come and go. This home is built by Beacon Homes, so you can trust that it's of the highest quality with so much to offer. The Fenwick Farmhouse is the perfect home for your family. Contact us today to learn more. So it actually is trying to close the conversation there with an offer. Now, that's amazing in that it literally wrote that in 2 seconds with just a bunch of keywords. Now, for those who are builders, they know there's some errors in there. I mean, there's one blaring error here. It says the kitchen boasts a large kitchen island, walk-in pantry, and double sink. Well, we know that the double sink is actually in the bathroom. So what happened is, now I learned on our stuff, we need to categorize double sinks into the bathroom. So now our AI will understand that for homes, double sinks are in the bathroom. So
Right.
there's some fine tuning here, but as it gets smarter and smarter, it can now carry on the conversation, or at least initiate the conversation for an OSC to pick up in the morning, or, you know, to edit or even pass it on. It may be smart enough to pass it on to Debbie as a salesperson instead of
Right.
Mark, because we know that Debbie is more versed for this type of house and this community than Mark.
But I would say to you, John, for me as a marketer, I had to write every single house description for my website, or I had to pay a content writer.
And you have to read every floor plan and everything about that community just to even compose it.
Or we had to hire a content writer, or my website company had to hire. So now I'm paying out of my marketing budget for someone to write that the only information they had was some photography, maybe, and my keywords. So is that better or worse than a stranger writing it, or me spending 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock at midnight writing every single house as a solo? Because I was by myself at the time. I was by myself as a marketer, late at night, having to churn out all of these because we were redoing our whole website, or we had a bunch of new plans for a new neighborhood. That's the kind of stuff that I want is real life, that this could change and can expedite. That instead of me working at midnight, that I could have a good night's sleep so I could be more productive when I woke up in the morning for work.
But I would argue that you don't have to even do any of this, because what happens is the raw material, the raw data is in there. The AI is generating this on the fly for that unique customer. It's all you're talking about right now, which is big, is to actually create static generic content of, you know, to describe that
Right.
plan.
No, I'm talking about like a pain that I had as a
Right.
marketer.
And what we're saying is we're taking it to another level, is that this family versus this family, or this couple versus that, you know, young couple versus that old couple, they may have to have a different message.
Right.
Relate to that same house. How are you going to even know that, be able to respond to that immediately and across multiple channels, and to continue to move them down an online customer journey? I mean, ultimately, what this would do for marketing and sales is not just to make a better customer experience, but it's also changing the shopping journey and actually creating a shopping journal. Because what's going to happen is, for the builder, you will actually see the communication thread. That's what's going to be really beautiful. And for what we've done in our New Go marketplace, every buyer can now use AI as a matching engine. So you can put in the things you're looking for, your most must-haves, your desirables, and then it will match you and recommend you. So we have a recommendation engine already built in there. We've also built in an individual buyer portal, so you can save all your favorites and you can have instant message communications between all your co-buyers and collaborators, whether it's your realtor, your spouse, or even the builder. But we can augment this with AI, because the AI can now have a conversation with you and guide you, because it knows everything about finance. It knows everything about green homes, smart homes, community features. So it can it can add its 2 cents worth for free.
And that's the future of a New Ghost, just to let everyone know. Like, that's
Right.
what we're planning, or our goals are. So for those, our competitors, if you're listening, that's how we imagine it working with us. But I want our clients, our future clients, to understand that we take this stuff so seriously. We're constantly looking at every piece of new technology that's coming out. How can we apply it? How can we make your life easier? How can we enhance our software with new technology? And we are trying it out ourselves daily to make sure. And right now, just to let everyone know, we're vetting this stuff to see if it's the right partner and tool for our technology. So the verdict's still out. We're not 100% certain that all these tools that we're telling you about, which one is going to be the horse that we ride into the next phase of a Nugo marketplace with. But that's what's currently happening, is we are trying it out. But I I recommend everybody try this out so you understand what this tech is capable of.
Yeah, it's good to start learning it, understanding it. The best way to overcome your fears is to face it. So we're here to help guide you, but you actually have to kind of get your hands in there. But I honestly believe that AI will improve the customer experience, providing more meaningful information quickly and unbiasedly across multiple sources and with real-time updates. But also on the seller side, and we alluded to productivity improvements, we alluded to skill sets and availability, but I actually think it would help management, and that the AI will help predict and guide you on how you should run your business. These are the type of plans that you should build. These are the types. This is the type of features you should market, and these are the things you shouldn't. And this is the price points, and this, and where you should advertise, how you should advertise, and how you should converse. AI, which is kind of running the show, will actually make it a win-win-win for the consumer, for the builders, and including our friends, the realtors in there, that may help you become a better realtor as well.
I agree. Well, is there anything else, John, that we left out, or should we wrap it up there for today?
I think we should wrap it up there, because if you give me another chapter, it'll take another hour.
Okay, so let's end it there, everybody. We will continue reporting on this as we continue to try out this technology. We recommend all of you do it too. In our show notes, we'll give you links to you.com. We'll give you links again to ChatGPT.
You may find out this has been the creative skill set and tools that the marketers have always dreamed about, but they've never had.
Well, I talked to someone this morning and talking about some of the Inugo tools and insights and analytics that we have. He is like, I feel like it's cheating. We never, when we all started selling, we didn't have access to all this data. And that's how I feel about a marketer. It's like, this feels like cheating, right? Like,
but if you're not doing it, your competitors are.
Right.
And you're not going to be cheating. You're going to be losing.
Well, and it's not cheating, everybody. And
it's
that's what we are laughing on that call this morning. It's like, data is not cheating. It's just using what all the knowledge you have.
It's advancing.
It's advancing. It's having the leg up. So just use this as your secret weapon, or as this whole podcast is like your new best friend. So thanks everybody for joining. We will catch you next time. And we'll see you later.
Okay. Bye. Have a happy 2023.